Yeah, yeah. What they say? I'm so divine, I'm so divine. Imperfection, perfection, my presence shines. My mental's parasailing maritime. They say I'm destined to read the palm line. Yeah, I'm so divine, I'm so divine. Imperfection, perfection, my presence shines. My mental is parasailing maritime. They say I'm destined to read the palm line. Yeah, I'm so divine.
Welcome to the H.G.R.G podcast, episode 41. What's going on, fellas?
What's going on? 41. We looking good. I'm gonna have to go with this with DT. Lance, are you with us, man?
Listen, man, you know what I'm saying? Listen, I'm back in the gym. You know what I'm saying? I'm with you guys. You know, life is good, man. Life is good. So
good, guys.
Life is good.
The first episode is my age, so it's near and dear to me. But we're not gonna be we're not gonna be fake with Lance, though. You know, all right. We're not gonna be fake with you, man.
I had to ask DT. I had to ask.
Just for the record,
saddened, but I had to ask.
Just for the record, we passed my age already. I just want to let you know that. Just for the record.
Yeah, I'm 21 out here, boy. You already know.
Just to be clear, you're a comment away from not really being around. So, we gotta. we gotta make
on that note. Episode 41, guys, listen, we want to talk about realtors. You know, something we want to touch on. You know, what makes realtors bow out of real estate? You know, or what makes them exit this game? I know you always hear people, you know, real estate is so many ways to get in it, but sometimes there's ways that people get out. You know, and we're going to go over some of those pros and cons, once again, to being a real estate agent. You know, what things look like before and after with COVID. You know, just we want to hit on a lot of things with you guys and just give you what we know from my mouth to your ears and just keep it raw like always, guys. So make sure you guys like, subscribe, HGRG.club, join the team. We're out here. Everything is live now. All right, guys. DT, with that being said, you know, obviously all of us have experience with realtors here. We've had our ups and downs with realtors. We've had a carousel of realtors. You know, we've worked with a lot of realtors.
We dealt with some real ones, some fake ones.
And that's what I want. And that's what I want to talk about. Exactly. The real ones, the fake ones. DT, you know, I always throw the ball to you, man. When it comes to realtors, what's that look like for you? What did it look like before? What does it look like now? What's your experience with them? Let the people know.
Well, first and foremost, I'm gonna say, do you got an hour? Do you got an hour?
I hope
story time with Dan.
Story time with Dan. Yeah. Listen, dealing with realtors is literally like a relationship with, you know, a family member or a spouse, a friend, a girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever. It's a lot. It's a lot. And to equivalent the same, you know, when you got a good girl, when you got a good guy, for those who are into that, you know, up front, you know, it doesn't take long, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, 2, 4, 5 dates. And that's how it works with a realtor. I had an experience just
Are you saying, wait, let me ask you, were you saying when you find a good one, keep it? Is that what you're saying there? After 2, 3, 4, 5 dates, is that what we're saying?
100%. When you find a
got it. So to be clear,
the difference is when you find a good realtor, you want to keep it. Nevertheless, you do not have to be monogamous with realtors.
So you could cheat in real estate.
In real estate, you could cheat, and they understand that because not every realtor.
Just want to make sure we're talking about real estate, right?
We're only talking about real estate.
Yeah.
You can cheat in real estate. So go ahead. I apologize.
You can cheat in real estate. You can't cheat in real life. We are all happily married men, and we have amazing families. We have amazing spouses. Amazing support.
You ain't got to broadcast this, man. We good here.
I don't know about you, but I do. All right, I do. So, nevertheless,
I love you. I do. What you mean? I never say it on the podcast. No, let me do the podcast. All All right, let's go back to you, Dan. I apologize. Go ahead.
Baby girl, I love you.
You know I love you, girl.
I love you. But with real estate agents, you could be married, quote unquote, to several real estate agents. Not all of them play in the same field, right? Some real estate agents deal with high level properties, low level properties, mid level properties, right? Each individually. There's not a lot to deal with all of the above, right? They have their strengths, they have their wheelhouse, they have their neighborhoods, they have their zip codes, their cities, whatever that looks like. So but to the original question, why do people get out of the business?
Right.
There's so many reasons, right? So real estate is on YouTube heavy. It's on many people's topic of conversation heavy. It's very clickbaity. So people are real estate. You got people who don't know nothing about nothing. Are like, I'm going to go get my license. They go take a 2-week course. They have their license. Now they are realtors. I mean, that's not quite what I'm looking for, as a seasoned investor or as an investor looking for something specific, because if I'm green and you're green, we're only going to produce green products. I'm looking for seasoned products. I'm not looking for green products as an investor. Right. So, with that said, I mean,
two blind eyes cannot lead you anywhere, bro.
Right. Then you're going to go through what H.G.R.G went through when H.G.R.G wasn't born yet. You're going to pay for their mistakes, and that's not fair to you. Right. So as an investor, if you're listening, as you should be trying to avoid that. Right. You want your realtor to know who you are as an investor so they can learn you and sell you, if you will, properties that fit your wheelhouse. Right. The newbies, they don't know. They're just trying to make a sale. And not even newbies, but some realtors, whether they're 20 years experience, at the end of the day, their motivation is to make a sale. That's how they feed their family. So why we say, you could be married to several, because depending on the type of investor you are, realtor A may be your go-to person. Realtor B may be your next best thing. Nevertheless, you need both of them to be successful because you play in both fields. But why do they leave the business? They don't have work ethic. They think it's, what they see on YouTube. It's a matter of taking a class and you're just going to catapult and take off. You're going to be a multimillionaire as a realtor. It don't work like that. Realtors work on commission. If you're a realtor, you work underneath a broker, right? A broker is your boss, essentially, right? You have to pay your broker every time you make a sale. You can't make a sale without your broker as a realtor. So, I honestly think most people don't even know that. So
you got to hang your license somewhere.
Yeah. Like your license is not just, like for me, for example, it would be Daniel Torres. I can't just go get my realtor's license and become Daniel Torres Realty because I'm not a broker. I have to find a broker or become a broker.
Right.
And that's the thing right there. Some green realtors jump in anybody's brokerage, and now some brokerage it's not really what it was cut out to be. Yeah. So you might get into a company thinking, "Hey, I'm gonna sell anything. I got this," and they don't even get leads like that. They don't even get. It's a pretty much. When I get a lead, I give it to you. So you're not making any money, and you think this is it. You don't go to another company. You stay with this company because you write it out. This is my first company, and you don't know there's other companies that do it well for themselves, but you're still stuck on this company, and you thought this company would make it, and you're like, all right, I did this for 6 months. I need to sell one property. I'm done.
Yeah,
it's my fault.
No, good. Naturally, you get. This is like a place that I can live here. Like you guys got to stop me because I deal with these stories and I deal with these situations like regularly. Like you're gonna get you in that example you gave, G, which is amazing because people, for example, Daniel Torres gets his realtor license, right? I have to park my license somewhere. I need a broker, right? So the question is, as now a new realtor, do I go to the big name
Right. I'm glad you're hitting on this.
Right? Do I go to like the Howard Hannas? Do I go to like the Remaxes? Do I go to the big
Century 21s?
Do I go to the big name broker?
Long and Foster. Yep.
Or do I try to do my own thing or go to like a smaller mom or pop shop?
Now that comes with percentages. You have to understand that there's percentages that these brokerages are taking from you. So, if you can negotiate a better percentage somewhere else, it may be in your benefit to go to a smaller company, right? But and not to take over, but at the end of the day, it has something to do with your work ethic as well. If you don't want to work weekends, if you don't want to market yourself, if you don't want to sign up, if you're not on all these apps, building your profile, it just selling your first 2 to family members or selling their properties or finding them properties to family members and whatnot, just to get some kind of resume and get you going and off your feet, or on your feet, there's a lot that goes into it. If you're dormant and you think it's just going to come knock at your door, you're going to walk down the street. So it's, oh man, you look like a realtor. Could you sell my property for me? It's not like that. Yep. And on top of that, it's not, you're not going in grabbing $1 million properties right off the bat like you see on TV.
Yeah. Was that a Sunset?
There's all kinds of shows now where they're selling, $10 million houses, and then you see that number that they get, or they're selling a whole building. Like in New York or something like that, you're selling a whole building where, even though to people that don't live in New York, it looks like apartments, right? But I guess the best way to put it is like condos in New York. So it'd be condos and you're selling every floor and you're making a commission off of every floor, 1.2, 1.6, the penthouse 2.7. You see what I'm saying? And they're getting that and you're seeing that, right? It takes them years to build those relationships.
Yeah, but make that real to me. I'm a realtor.
Yeah.
I'm not from New York.
Right.
I'm from a different place where, the normal real estate is not $1 million real estate. It may be hundreds of thousands. It may be less.
But there's $1 million real estate almost everywhere. I mean, there's different neighborhoods, there's different counties and stuff like that, surrounding areas. So I don't want realtors or new realtors to see a TV show, right, and look at those numbers and think that automatically, without building a clientele, without building their resume, think they can move into $900,000 houses, $1 million houses, and sell those properties. So
as a new realtor, is it even possible for me to be in that wheelhouse to even be lucky and list $1 million listing?
So I'll tell you this: if you do get
the
that,
answer is no.
But I'll explain why. I'll explain why no. Okay. Because if your broker gives you that, he's setting you up for failure.
Or maybe they found it themselves. Right. But what a brokerage may do, and correct me if I'm wrong, right? Because I'm not a real estate agent, but maybe the brokerage will put somebody else on the property with you.
Yeah.
Then you got to split the commission and you learn.
To be clear, none of us are real estate agents or brokers. My wife is a broker and agent. We have relationships with brokers and agents that we deal with regularly with all our deals. To be clear, disclaimer, all that good stuff. But to Lance, to your point, 100% true. Networking, before you become a realtor, you take your class, your course, you get certified. That I think that's like the biggest misnomer, that most people who do that, they have their family or friends that are looking to sell their houses, right? And out of loyalty to them, they say, hey, you got your license, I'm going to use you.
Right.
And then, okay, I got my license yesterday. My cousin owns a property that's worth $1 million or 100,000 or 80,000. Just out of loyalty, they'll use me. To Lance's point, whoever I park my license with, meaning my broker, would and should school me to how to list that property. Because now I have $1 million listing or a $80,000 listing or whatever it looks like. And then, so I bring it to my broker. My broker's like, okay, I know you're not seasoned enough to handle this by yourself. So I'm going to help you. I'm going to walk you through that. That's the importance of the partnership in the brokerage.
Right. Just like Jerry was saying, they set you up for failure if they don't help you out. You know what I'm saying? Or if they do throw you $1 million profit. Yeah, I mean, they would never do it anyway, but it doesn't
they wouldn't do that. That's why
right.
The answer is no.
Right.
The answer is no.
Yeah.
And if you go to a mom and pop's brokerage and they do that for you, they're setting you up to fail.
Yeah, and even
there's nowhere in hell you can do that.
They are setting you up to fail, you know. But
Right.
in my point that I was making, the exit, right? So you stay on topic. How you exit out is that this just doesn't come to you. If you don't go get it, it's going to be you're going to be forced out because you're not going to make any money.
Yeah.
You know, it's not that you're going to decide to quit. It's just that your pocket's going to tell you that it's time to quit.
And then you get up every morning and knowing that you're not going to sell 1 month, 2 months goes down, 3 months go down, 4 months. In the 5th month, you're like, man, I can't. This half a year, I didn't make a dime yet off of real estate.
Yeah, and let's go to a different place, right? Which what you're saying is 100% truth. Now let's go to the COVID era, right? Where this pandemic has birthed so many amateur realtors who believe that they are all-star level realtors because they don't really know what it is to be an all-star level realtor. With all the respect.
What do you mean by that?
What I mean by that is like, I'm trying to create an example. Okay. Prior to COVID, people who created masks, and gloves, they were cherished, they were appreciated, but to a certain level, right? Now COVID comes around. The people who create masks, now it doesn't matter if your masks are good or not. It doesn't matter if your gloves are good or not. You are next level. You're lit. You're going to be forever lit because of what happened.
Right. You've never seen sales like this ever.
Yeah,
right.
Because it has nothing to do with the product or the quality of the product. It's the fact that you're in that space already.
Correct.
Okay. It's not the perfect analogy, but it kind of makes sense. Okay. So now in real estate, interest levels went down so low. The stock market wasn't doing what it was supposed to do. Every investor was looking for somewhere to go, right? And real estate will never go nowhere. H.G.R.G.club has preached that to you and will preach that to you. H.G.R.G.club. Now, with that being said, so I took my test 2 weeks. I'm in. Real estate is the hottest thing out. It's the most stagnant thing out. I have my family members. I just so happened to get lucky. My brother was selling his house $1 million. I didn't know what I was doing. I messed up a couple things, but I listed it for $1 million. I'll
tell you right now, you
sold for 200,000 over asking.
You didn't get lucky. The market told you that. That's all.
Right, but it's sold.
But the timing is lucky.
100% timing is lucky.
Yeah, correct.
So it's sold for 200,000 over asking at $1 million. I never sold a property in my life. I took a class, I listed it, it worked. In my brain, you can't tell me nothing. I'm the best realtor that ever came.
And you did it for 1.5 years straight.
And
right.
Think about it, right?
I did that consecutively.
You just kept doing
it. Deal after deal. You know, maybe not at the same numbers, you know, obviously, because that's not
right. But you got over asking price. There was no.
It was just a matter of doing pictures.
I was going to tell you that, and 90% of it, nobody came to the house.
Right, listing it on MLS and then putting it in the system. Multiple offers, right?
In days, by the way, 1 day.
Sometimes minutes.
Right.
Sometimes minutes. Right. That's what happened. So now what happens is those investors become, you know, they're spoiled. They think
those realtors.
I'm sorry, those realtors.
Right.
They're spoiled. They think that this is the real temperature of the climate. Right. So what's happening, what's starting right this second is that those people are now being sifted. You know what I mean? They're being exposed because now the climate isn't the same. Now it's kind of going back to prior to COVID.
Right.
You know,
interest rates going up.
Interest rates going up. Now you actually have to sell a property. You actually have to work for it. You actually have to, you know,
market.
Know your stuff.
Peers. You know, I had a situation. I think I told you guys about this last week. A realtor listing right now, right? A property. They don't want to do nothing. They're so spoiled on the realtor end that they're relying on the management side to do their job, meaning schedule showings, coordinate with the tenants, and this, that, and third. That's a realtor's position. But they're so used to what COVID looks like that the management company will take care of that. Whatever. That's one thing. Another thing is that a buyer walked through and there was garbage in the yard, in the hallway. The showing was at 1:00. Okay. This is a $250,000 listing. Okay. Typically prior to COVID, an agent who is listing a $250,000, that's a good joint for them. So
they'll be there an hour early.
Be there an hour early. If there's anything there that's minuscule that they can do, they will put on some rubber gloves, take the garbage out of the hallways, put them in the bags, sweep up, rake up, whatever they got to do, because they want their showing to go the best as it possibly can. Right? No, this time the agent calls the owner, tells the owner that this property the garbage is everywhere in the backyard. There's garbage cans, like the outside garbage cans that the refuse takes.
Yeah.
And there's bags overflowing and there's stuff all around it because the company who takes the garbage hasn't been here in 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's because
the hallway that walks to the apartments, there's one black garbage bag in the hallway. It's just a garbage bag.
Right.
He takes a picture of the garbage bag, sends it to the owner, tells the owner that needs to be removed. In order for me to sell your property, I can't sell your property until they remove the garbage bag, clean the garbage in the backyard around the garbage. And there was in the basement, there was a pile of garbage, which was, maybe 1 foot around or 2 foot around, which was leftover scraps from somebody who did an electrical job in the basement and never cleaned their mess up. Some type of contractor, whatever. So there's 3 piles of garbage that the agent is saying he can't sell this house if they don't do that. That's a $250,000 property. Even if he's an agent, what's 3% of a $250,000?
Right.
Enough to pick up the garbage.
Yeah, you're right. If I do the math on that,
enough to pick the garbage up. He for him, that wasn't even an option. That 100%.
Well, because in COVID, in that climate, like you were saying, with that temperature, they could that trash bag could have been 3x all through the hallway, and that would have sold in minutes.
Yeah,
And
it goes back to what you're saying, the work ethics. If we're going to go before COVID, realtors knew contract work. Realtors tell you might need a new roof.
Yeah,
they told you the stairs is a little loop. Yeah, the floor is a little loop. Mm-hmm. If you're not a real real estate, real realtor, you don't know that stuff no more. Yeah. All you know is,
or if you were like,
do you see the pictures? Do you see the video? Yep. The video is great. Yep. You want to buy it?
Yep. That's it.
And the thing is like there was no concessions or anything like that. So there's no concessions. There's no what's the word here? There's nothing based on the walkthrough. What's it called?
Contingencies.
No contingencies. Thank you. There's no contingencies at all. So we're wiping contingencies clean.
Yeah.
You have 10 offers, 7 of them, no contingencies with 20, 30, 40,000 over asking price. What do we
listen, man? I'm telling you right now. I've been doing real estate for 17 years.
Gotcha.
Damn near 17, 18 years. I learned the value of a realtor several times, but there was one time I had a flip that I did, right? And I was out of town and I had an accepted offer. They did a walkthrough. The buyer, for some reason, they lost their minds on the screens, the window screens at the property. There was like 5 or 6 window screens that may have had like a puncture in them or didn't close properly or whatever it was. And they wanted to back out the deal over the window screens. I'm out of town and I had no idea this was going on. My realtor, and this is God's honest truth, when the buyer told her that, she went to the property herself, removed the screens, and replaced the screens by herself, and never told me. She never told me she did it. She just did it. The deal goes through. At closing, she told me, I didn't want to call you when you were away out of town and tell you what happened, but I just want you to understand what happened with this deal. She went there, she replaced the screen. She bought the screens on her own out of her pocket. She took her time, replaced the screens, installed them, fixed them, all that good stuff. I don't know what it cost her. I know it was time and it was money. Nevertheless, it was enough for her to make sure that deal went through.
Just like the 250,000. If you don't take the garbage can for the 8,000 you're gonna get from selling that, that's what you're gonna get. 8,000, 3%. You're bugging.
No, but
you're bugging.
COVID has spoiled people so much that the option to even think to do that has never really been a reality.
Do you not remember, Lance, when our realtor fixed the siding for our property because he knew when we were going to buy it, and if the siding doesn't look good, he fixed it himself?
Yep, I do remember that. Absolutely. It was on the left side of the property. Actually.
Absolutely. Yep. So we have those realtors. We're not getting the green ones, bro. I'm not doing it. Yeah. I'm not breaking it in for you. I'm not doing that. Yeah. I'm sorry.
And now let me ask you this. Let's be clear. So when we say green, right, and not the understanding of green, but is it worse that we have a realtor that was green that started right before COVID? Or is it, or does it matter if COVID was there or not? Because now the person that started green in the year in, right, is that a better realtor than perhaps a realtor that started during COVID or right before COVID, a year in?
I don't think
you had everything handed to you as it go. And let me be very clear. Someone that didn't have to deal with COVID, right? They had their learning curves, and they had to learn how to hustle to become whatever they are throughout that year, right? Now the person with COVID, and we're just being honest here, right? They didn't really have to have the same hustle, right? And they made a lot more money because it was kind of handed to them on a platter, right? Really, all they have to do is make sure they have a property, and you're able to sell it during COVID.
For me,
hands down. So did they learn anything?
For me, they're in the same boat. For me,
tell me more.
Because if they only sold 2 properties in that year and then hit COVID, they're in the same boat as the guy who just got their realtor's license in COVID. They don't really know the ins and outs.
You're saying 2 properties. Do you agree with that, DT? I saw you make a face. No. So tell me why you don't agree with what Jerry just said.
I understand his point, but do I agree with it? No, I think I would just say something a little bit. I would just approach it differently, angle wise. I don't think it matters when you started being a realtor. My preference, let me say this, our preference is somebody who is seasoned prior to COVID.
Right. So let's push that.
The question is specific.
Right. Someone that is green that went through a whole year without COVID.
Yeah.
Is that realtor better than
green who went through a whole year without COVID? Without
COVID, right? There was no COVID because they started
2019
their first year, right?
2019, and then
now another green person, another green realtor that started right before COVID. Mm-hmm. And basically through COVID, because the way it was, the climate, right, the temperature, everything was handed.
That's not really I don't really know that that's like a good question, because
it's a good fucking question. It's you were talking about on the host.
I don't know if that's a good question, because just you started in 2019. You're not telling me.
That's what I said. What
Jerry said. Did they sell 2 properties? Did they sell 20? Did they sell 5?
Hold on. Let's cut it right now. When I explained what I explained and you nodded your head and said no, you disagreed and now you're agreeing. I just want to make sure we're on the same freaking page right now. I just want to make sure.
I disagreed because I misunderstood the question. I wasn't
Thank you so much, bro.
I didn't understand the fact that you were comparing, green 2019 to green 2020.
I'm just giving, a green person that didn't have to go through COVID.
I thought you were saying a green any of those times to a seasoned,
But wouldn't the grind still be different, fellas? All right, so I'm on the other side. Wouldn't the grind still be different? Because there was nothing there for you, to catapult you. Everything you got, you had to get through the mud your first year, right?
Yep.
You had to learn.
But how many properties did he sell?
That's what I'm saying. You're not telling us that.
So
it's too open-ended. You're saying
if you sold one property, how seasoned are you?
Even if you sold, let's say you sold 2 or 3 in a year, right? You still had to grind from them from A to Z.
If you sell 2 or 3 properties in a year as a realtor,
in your first no. In your first year,
that's not
green in your first year.
Not a successful year.
Yeah, it's not even that. That's deeper. That's deeper, but.
Actually, you might want to reconsider your career. You might, but that's terrible. That's terrible.
So to answer
3 properties for free. Yo, I mean, you guys are tough.
Do the math. You sell 3 properties for 200.
That's not even one in a season.
Yeah, you
sell one a season, bro.
Bro, if you sell 3 properties for $200K, and you only make 3% off that $200K, you're telling me I'm gonna feed my family off of 3% of $200K.
Listen, sometimes your first year you got to take, your bumps and bruises to learn the game. So
is that a part-time job or is that like your full-time?
It could be. I mean, but at the end of the day,
that changes the variable.
Now,
so does it make?
I stand where I stand.
So does it make someone better that's in COVID, right? A new realtor in COVID, right, or started during COVID that sold 20 properties their first year, every asking price and over that whole year? Is that the person that you feel like you should go with? Is that the more seasoned person?
Like I said, I consider.
Is that the more? I mean, is that really when it's all said and done? Is that the more successful person?
I give you both people, both realtors.
It's not
category. They are in the same category. They are the same selling point when you say, where are these guys at in the selling point of property?
I beg to differ.
They're the same. They're the same.
I beg to differ.
How?
I feel like somebody that didn't have the COVID push.
You went through one walkthrough?
God, you can't tell me someone that I could have sold 20 properties, fucking rolling out of bed during COVID. What does that make me? It doesn't mean.
What you If you sold 20,
tell me how not really. If
you sold 20 properties during COVID and you did one walkthrough, how are you not the same person? What are you doing?
It would be 20. It would be 20 walkthroughs. I mean, it wouldn't.
You didn't do real walkthroughs in COVID.
But that's my point. That's what I'm trying to say.
So, but how are you? Then how am I picking one guy that did one walkthrough?
I am saying, who do you think would be the better realtor?
None of them. That's what I just said. None of them.
One's got to be better than the other. Hey, listen, just because both teams are bad, somebody's got to win the game, right? So I'm asking you. I'm not asking a season or anything like that. I know
it could be a draw, like soccer or some shit like that.
But
yeah, I don't
draw, bro.
First of all, you're asking a question, and you're creating an analogy that there's not enough specifics to like really make a pick a side type of thing, right? If you have somebody who sold 20 houses through COVID, all
right, you know what? Fine. Let me redo this.
No. Let me do it for you.
Go ahead. Absolutely.
Somebody who sold 20 houses through COVID, and somebody who sold 2 houses prior to COVID, right? None of them are better than the other. There's no I like this guy better than the other. Now, because there's so many things that can go into both of those deals. What happens if the guy in 2019 sold those properties because that was his brother and his sister that listed their house and they put it on the market, and then they might have put it on the market for lower than what it was supposed to be?
You're going in deep. You're going in deep, brother. You're going in deep.
How it sells doesn't mean it's sold right. Because just because you were represented by a realtor and your house sold doesn't mean that it sold at its value or the way it was supposed to happen.
I'll give you a prime example of what he's saying. A friend of mine they're green, not an investor. They just bought a house to live in, right? The realtor was brand new, brand spanking new. She bought the house. 2 weeks later, she had mold in the basement. If nobody knows what they're doing, she got hit, and the realtor got a win.
I mean, did they take the proper steps though? I mean, was
because the realtor saying this is a great buy? The buyer did not understand the steps. So she's green. So she did not. She was green and he was green.
That's a perfect example. Yeah.
And now because he sold one with the walkthrough, you are taking him over a guy who went and didn't do no walkthrough. I'm good with both of them, bro. I don't want none of them.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's why
I didn't ask anyone. I didn't ask you if you wanted any of them. I said, which one do you think would be better?
Oh,
that's what I'm asking. Do you think the experience of not having COVID would make them a better realtor than somebody that was in COVID that really didn't have to do anything?
That's a stupid question.
My answer stays the same. They're equal as.
Let's ask a question that relates to what people are really going through, man. That's a dumb question. Lance.
Yeah, you know what? Not only the realtors going to exit, I'm going to exit this damn podcast too. How about that one? Unbelievable.
I think what we should ask is, what is your realtor doing for you? How do you value realtors? Are you on the side of I'd rather go without one to avoid paying that fee? Or are you on the side of I value what they bring to the table, so I'm willing to pay whatever? Mind you, as a buyer, I don't pay realtors. As a seller, you pay realtors.
That's correct.
Sure.
That's right. That's a gem, guys.
So let's be honest. If you're a buyer, 100% you should use a realtor every time if you don't know the ins and the outs of real estate and how it works, and you're not like a seasoned investor. Are we clear on that, Lance?
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
Thanks, bud. Now to the next one.
I'm glad you didn't throw my name in there because I was on the same page.
I already know your answer. I
appreciate you, King.
And that's why I argue with Lance more than I argue with Jerry, because he
shots fired. I know who that's. Shots fired.
So
we listen to you guys out there. Shots fired.
So now on the other side of the coin, right? The original question is why realtors don't make it through the game, why they quit, why they leave.
What makes them exit? Absolutely.
Right. So what makes them exit is, again, to our point, is that most of the time they don't really realize what they're getting into. They think it's easy. The cake, the grass is green on the other side. They think it's very easy to become
just
a
like Blaine said, when they watch those shows, they see the commission of 300,000.
Yeah.
This is the cheat code. I gotta get this. And it's not as simple as what you think.
And they think a property's listed at 100K. Realtors make 6%. I sell 100,000 on a property, I make 6,000. They don't think about, okay, no, I signed up with a brokerage.
I gotta pay.
Depending on the contract you sign with the brokerage, they may take 70% of what you make and give you 30.
Right. And not only that, you get only half of that 6%.
Hello. And not only half of that. So the broker gets 3%, you get 3%. Now on your 3%, you might only get 70% of your 3%, or 50%, or 40% of your 3%.
Depending on where you are. Back to what just Jerry was saying. What brokerage are you with?
So as a realtor, your number really isn't 6%. Your number that you should focus on is 3%.
How much taxes on that? So just know that you get 3%. Then taxes on that.
You can write some stuff on. Bro.
And how much of your 3% is yours is what you negotiate. So when realtors realize that, and they see, okay, I put in, and beginning, you got to grind, you got to knock on doors, you got to, spend money on
money
and
huge DT.
You put yourself out there, and you might invest in yourself. It could be $100, it could be $10,000, it could be whatever it is, right? You put all that money out there to invest in yourself, to market yourself, and you may only get a 1 or 2 property return. To Lance's point in the beginning, where the first year of your business, you may not make no money, right? Sometimes most businesses don't really make any money in their first year.
Yep.
And most businesses crash.
And as a realtor, let me jump on it. As a realtor, you are a business ultimately. You're a self-managed business.
You gotta market yourself. Your work ethics got to be on point. You got to hustle.
In the eyes of the IRS, when you file your taxes, you are a sole proprietor of your business.
That's right.
100%. 100%. So with all that said, you invested in yourself, whether it's $100, Facebooks, Instagrams, signs, postings, billboards, social media marketing, tagging onto influencers, whatever that looks like. Nevertheless, it's all money, right? You invest all in your first deal. Let's say you make, you sell a $200,000 property, you make $7,000. I don't know how much of that went to what you invested into marketing yourself.
Just
it's an expense.
Get a little detailed with the numbers though. You're absolutely right. I want to go that right. $200,000 house, right? Mm-hmm. Boom. You sold one house in that month, right? You sold one house in that month, so $200,000.
And hold up, let's. That's a great point. You, as a realtor, you get properties under contract.
Okay. And that doesn't mean you closing every week, bro.
So COVID realtors, and I say this in an umbrella. I'm not going to label them all, but typically they get properties under contract. As a realtor, sometimes you got to fight and work and make calls and get things done to make that property that you have under contract to actually close.
And when you close, it's usually 30 to 45 days.
Sometimes 60 to 90.
60 to 90.
Nevertheless,
worst case. Yeah, it could go long.
Right.
But the average is 30 to 45 days. That means that one property that you put in contract, you're not getting paid after 45 to 60 days. Mm-hmm. So you got one, you're happy you got it on contract, yes. And you don't get paid until February. You got yours in January, you don't get paid till March, bro.
If you're lucky. Now, if you're lucky, because you have to see that property to closing. You can have they can have listen, man, we can go into this all day. Just be clear. And that's probably another episode.
You signed the contract. But guess what?
I'm lit. I'm
the
good.
person that was living there, their contract fell through. So now can they stay there? I mean, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things.
I think we should probably cut this up and make it into a pigtail episode off of this, because I don't want to cheat the people, but I want to make sure we cover that as well, because most people think, I got it under contract, sold. Nah. There's
so many things that go wrong, bro.
There's inspections. Once you get your inspection, the buyer comes back and says, "Hey, you got fixes. There's $15,000 in fixes here. We got to renegotiate. There's contingencies. There's C of O's. There's things that have to be done. They want
tenants out. The tenants don't leave. Yeah.
Something as simple as garbage being removed from the yard to as advanced as roofs being done and new furnaces and all that stuff.
Sure.
And you have to, as the realtor, I can see his head sell that as like a car salesman to make it interesting to them. So it's a lot, man.
So let's go back.
I can see the sickness just fill up with this guy's chest.
Let's go back. Let's go back to the original. Mathematics.
Mathematics.
200,000.
Yeah.
6%.
Yeah.
Let's say it closed in 30 days. Let's keep it as positive as we can.
12,000 to the broker, right? 12,000 for the deal. The realtor's investment between broker and realtor is $12K. What does that mean in layman's terms? You as the realtor can possibly receive $6,000. The broker receives $6,000 as well. Total being 12,000, right?
Correct.
6% of 200,000, 12,000. So off the top, your broker is going to receive 6,000. Done. The only money in question is 6K.
6K. So in your eyes, you
go ahead.
You say 6,000 for 1 month. Hey, that's pretty decent for one of my.
Most realtors will say 6,000 for one deal.
One deal, correct. One deal for the month. That month.
No. Most realtors don't deal with months.
No, we are keeping the same mathematics.
No,
we sold in 30 days.
Yeah, we're keeping the mathematics, but realtors, a seasoned realtor, doesn't deal with how much I made this month. They deal with how much I made this deal because they want to do multiple deals.
Yeah, but we're not talking about what the logic and the math. We're giving a math to a real realtor thinking, oh, I got 6,000 end of this month. I can pay my rent. So I wanted to play that game.
Okay.
We can't play that game.
We got everything else in perspective, but I get
correct. I want them to understand. You think you're getting 6,000? Let me break that down for you.
Yep.
So they don't get the 6,000. What are we having a conversation? Because if they're talking to a brokers that giving 70%, do they get 6,000 again?
No, you get 70% of 6,000.
So what's the number on that?
Or hold on. So what does that mean? So if you, as the realtor, negotiated with your brokerage, whatever percentage it is, some are 50, some are 60, some are 70, some are 40, whatever your percentage is with your broker. So out of that 6,000, depending on what you negotiated with your brokerage, you may only get 70% of that, 80% of that.
So let's say 70%.
Right.
So automatically, yes,
4,800, something like that.
42. Okay. So from the 6,000, if you now got to give the brokerage 30% of that.
If you're on a 70-30 deal.
Correct. We're going to use that. We're going to keep it back. So they gave up 30% of their 6,000.
Yep. So you as a realtor, you're on a 70-30 deal. Out of the 6,000, you receive 4,200. Your brokerage receives the rest. Why do you pay the brokerage the rest? For your printer, for your office, for your, most importantly, your leads.
Your leads.
Right? The size of your brokerage, the big name brokerage, they charge you that because that name, Howard Hanna, Remax, whatever that Century 21, that name alone brings you automated generated leads. Right, and their leads are what's going to get you to make these type of sales. So that has value. And in their synopsis or they think that their value is worth 30% of whatever you sell.
Correct.
And that's
now you have 42.
Yeah. So now you're at 42. You got to pay taxes. Depending on how much you make a year, you fall in certain tax brackets.
Let's take half of that. Let's take half of that because taxes.
No, you're gonna write some stuff off. That's
not. But you can take. But what do you write it off or as a green investor?
A fair number, I always say, is 30%.
I would say 40, bro.
No, 30. No way. No,
I say 40%.
I say 30 is a fair number because again, there's a lot of write-ups, and mind you, if you're only selling one deal a month, right? You sold 12 deals at 4,200. Right? What are you making? 30 grand? Your tax bracket is not really
right. It's not 40% tax bracket.
No, you're probably 20% tax bracket. Right. So 30% is being generous. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, the numbers are there.
So let's take 30% from 42. What was that?
So 10% is $420, right? 20% $800, $40, and then 30% would be 12.
So 3,000. So 3,000 you're walking home with.
Yeah, you walk home with 3,000 out of that one deal,
and your bills are 4,200. You're messed up right now.
You better
that just show because you gotta build up.
Another deal next week.
All the time.
Yeah, you better have the deal next week.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
but that in itself would make someone exit because they're thinking, they're watching TV shows and whatnot, and they're thinking they can make all this money. And they're selling $200,000 houses. Nothing wrong with that, right? But then you realize you think it's a certain number and it's not, and then you see yourself coming up short every time when it comes to your bills, and you're like, I need to fix something. I need to move on here.
Yep.
And you're out the door because real estate realtors like that 80-20 rule, man. You got 20% of the people making the real money, and then you have the other 80%.
So for that math right there. It's two things you're going to do. Hustle to get more or walk away because it's not worth it.
Yeah.
That's what it's going to come down to it. Yeah. If you're smart enough, you'll hustle to get more. You become the brokerage yourself. or you walk away.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about. We're walking away.
That's why I think the person that's green that didn't have COVID would probably be a better realtor because they got to grind. Anyway, we off that. But they got to grind a little bit more.
Stupid question.
They got to grind. You know, they got to learn to grind. COVID, you don't learn nothing.
I wish you would have never said that.
It's almost like, to me, damn. I'm sorry, realtors. I love you. You have good relationships, but it's like spoiling a kid, right? They don't know what it's like. They get everything handed to them, right? So when that gets taken away, they don't know how to react. And you have a realtor that was green and didn't have that COVID push, right? They never had anything handed to them. So at least they know how to grind, especially if they're still around. You see what I'm saying? So that's how I was looking at it. Whether I explained it right or not the first time when I put the question together, yeah, I'm right. You guys are wrong.
So yeah, I got
we'll leave it as
yeah, damn Skipper.
We agreed to disagree, bro. Go ahead.
I had a conversation. I said this in our last episode with the same realtor who did the screens for me, right? I still deal with her. She's amazing. She's actually one of my favorite realtors that I deal with. She made a comment. She said, you know, now that interest rates are going up and things are balancing out, right? We're coming to the tail end of this, you know, this craziness in real estate. You know, you're going to separate the boys from the men.
So we're going to see who's who now. That's all I'm saying.
The wheat.
She's saying my point.
Yeah, but your point is still on the same thing.
And your point.
1 year and COVID is not the same thing as a seasoned investor.
Absolutely.
Or guys who's been working with
seasoned investors. If they're around, they're around. COVID didn't make or break them.
I'm talking about seasoned realtors. I'm talking about
that comment that she's saying can only apply to people that haven't been in the game that long. You're not talking about people that have been in 8, 9, 10 years into real estate. You're not separating anybody at that point.
Are we going back to the same question?
He doesn't want to.
The question was, which one is better? And I said none. And you're still stuck on that.
We said.
Sorry. Yes, we said none. We said none. None of them they're equal as none.
Do me a favor. If I'm wrong, go in the comments. Tell me I'm wrong. Which side you agree with on this one? Because I really, this is not for the camera. This is a real separation here. I don't feel how you guys feel.
The fans don't need to agree. It's unanimous. You are wrong. It was a stupid question.
I'm honestly embarrassed that you even have that point.
Next question.
I'm honestly embarrassed that you have that point.
We'll be embarrassed, damn it. But at the end of the day, guys, listen, that is us having an open conversation, you know, from our mouth to your ears, like always. You know, there's many ways you can get into real estate. And once again, you know, there's many ways to get out of real estate, you know, and we're talking about realtors today, and this is how you could exit. You know, not having the grind, not marketing yourself properly, not being with the right brokerage. You know, it's just post-COVID, you know, pre-COVID, you know, not being the same. And can you still be around? You know, so
you thinking this is a get money scheme. It's not.
Right. Yes. You thinking that you're going to roll out of bed and you're going to get rich off real estate, you know, being a realtor because you're watching a TV show and you're seeing numbers that just, you know, aren't true to you because you're not seasoned like these guys have been in the game 20 years, you know, and having relationships with architects and people like that we're building. So, you know.
Now, last thought, right?
Yeah, go ahead. Absolutely, DT.
We're on the tail end of COVID. Evictions are moving. Properties are being turned over. People are leaving with high debts. And, you know, you got owners of properties who are in a place where they're like, you know what, enough's enough. I want out, or I'm going to get rid of what I got. And, you know, once I get those funds, I'm going to reinvest in a different way. Right. Initially they bought wrong. They overpaid, underpaid, bought in the wrong areas, didn't have the right team, didn't have the right management, didn't have the right guidance. Nevertheless, through all this, they've kind of learned where they went wrong and they want to do it right now, or they just want to get out, you know, to the episode's point. You know, they get out of the business. And why do they? You know, I just explained that. But my point is that how important is it when they're at this point where they want to get out or reinvest the right way to have the right team, the right realtor, the right investor? Question number one. Question number two is, where do they get that?
Answer that for him, just Jerry.
This is going to be a hard one. H H.G.R.G. that club, brother. We have all that for you.
That's a part of why that's our origin. That's our DNA. That's why we're here. We create these conversations. We answer these questions amongst each other. A lot of times we kind of create argument, and nevertheless it's genuine, but you know, it's facetious. We know where it ends up at. You know what I mean?
We kind of know the answer.
100%. We understand what's the best way to go.
Yeah, I really don't want to say we fake argue, but we do kind of know both
we don't
sides.
fake, because my man is super spontaneous about that.
We're not fake at all. I'm just saying we kind of know both sides of the answer. It could go left and go right.
That's why I always say the pros and the cons before we get into it, because I know we're going to give both sides, and you know, we're going to have different angles and different opinions, you know, and I just like to be transparent up front. So for sure, man, listen, this is the realest podcast, you know, you're going to find when it comes to real estate. Just mess with us, man. HGRG.club. Go see us, lock in, and we'll see you on the other side.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you.
Yeah. What they say? I'm so divine. I'm so divine. Imperfection, perfection, my presence shines. My mental is parasailing maritime. They say I'm destined for